we had a date. I like this, like standing behind your really. That's that big.
That just made him
I was like, seriously, about to be like this. And get down next to you. You should have stood up. I would have said it. I've seen so many things. None of them, they fade. Stop my head. Sorry. Like, I feel for you, but I'm not so I've had one of this rap. No. Like, I gotta go.
So I said maybe that.
Right, so it looks like we're almost about to start. With your wrist or your arm, whatever. Huh? Yeah, then you lift it up.
Yeah, I know.
Right after. Yeah. You're not gonna do anything. You're gonna stay exactly like this. No, stay on the side. Who told you that they go in the front? Yeah, because they're home. All right, guys, come to shoulder.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. My name is Senior Chief Baruzzi, and I will be your Master of Ceremonies for today's retirement of Chief Postmate Stephen Worrell. I would like to ask the audience to please turn off or silence any cellular phones during this ceremony. Thank you. This ceremony represents both the culmination and conclusion of Chief Worrell's 22 years of honorable service to the citizens of this nation as a member of the military. The military retirement ceremony is a time-honored tradition in which past and present shipmates express their appreciation and gratitude for many years of devoted service by the member as well as his family. It is a sincere official recognition of that service and a means to recognize the end of one's military life. It is a simple ceremony but full of meaning drawn from the Coast Guard's primary mission to protect and defend the ideas embodied in the Constitution of the United States. Our official party today includes Captain Marcille, Director, Coast Guard Leadership Development Center, Chief Warrant Officer Roberts, Commanding Officer, Coast Guard Station Castle Hill, and Chief Postmate Stephen Worrell. During the ceremony, all covered personnel shall follow my lead for salutes and removing their covers. At this time, please rise and cover for the presentation of colors.
Color guard. Forward. March. Reset. Arms.
please be seated. Military members, you may uncover this. Today, Chief Worrell is marking the end of over 22 years of honorable service to his country and the Coast Guard. To help us commemorate this occasion, we have gathered family and friends of Chief Worrell, as well as his shipmates who have shared part of his journey. On this occasion, we recognize Chief, as well as his family who are here with us today. His sons Benjamin and Dylan, brother Raymond, and his mother Mary. Thank you for joining us. I would like to take this opportunity to summarize Chief's career over the past 22 years. Chief Worrell enlisted in the Coast Guard in September of 1991 and graduated from Training Center Cape May in New Jersey. His career assignments have included Coast Guard Cutter Aquidneck in Portsmouth, Virginia, Coast Guard Cutter Escanaba in Boston, Massachusetts, Aids to Navigation Team in Bristol, Rhode Island, Aids to Navigation Team in Southwest Harbor, Maine, Coast Guard Cutter Catherine Walker, Bayonne, New Jersey, the Executive Petty Officer of the Coast Guard Cutter Hauser, also located in Bayonne, New Jersey, the Executive Petty Officer of Coast Guard stationed in London, Connecticut, Officer Candidate School at the Coast Guard Academy, which is also located in London, Connecticut. Chief's military awards include the Coast Guard Accommodation Medal, the Department of Transportation 9/11 Medal, 3 Coast Guard Achievement Medals, 7 Coast Guard Good Conduct Medals, 2 National Defense Service Medals, the Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, 2 Humanitarian Service Medals, Coast Guard Presidential Unit Citation, Coast Guard E-Ribbon, 2 Coast Guard Unit Commendations, 2 Coast Guard Meritorious Unit Commendations, 3 Coast Guard Meritorious Team Awards, the NOAA Corps Director's Ribbon, the Department of Transportation Outstanding Unit Award, the Special Operations Service Ribbon, and 2 Coast Guard Sea Service ribbons. In addition, he also earned his Permanent Cutterman's Pin, Coxswain Pin, and Advanced Boat Forces Operations Pin. And there you have it, a brief compilation of Chief Worrell's Coast Guard achievements over the past 22 years. Now I would like to introduce our guest speaker, Chief Warrant Officer Roberts, Commanding Officer of Station Castle.
Well, good morning. Captain Marcel, Captain Flynn, Captain Sanders, Master Chief Pierce, honored guests, Steve's shipmates, family, and friends. Thank you all for joining Steve on this momentous and special day here on this storied campus amongst all this history. For those of you who don't know me, I'm John Roberts, I'm the CO of Station Castle Hill. Before I proceed any further, I would like to take a moment to thank Steve's boys, Dylan and Benjamin, for their service to their country and for everything they have done and have sacrificed for their dad. For Steve's mom, Mary, and brother Raymond, I can say unequivocally that Steve would not have gotten where he is today without both of you. So now that the most important things have been said, I must also say it's an honor that Steve asked me to get up here and speak on his behalf. Now, I first met Steve when I reported to the Chief Petty Officers Academy in sunny Petaluma, California in the fall of 2006. I think it was class 137. Sure it was. Anyhow, Steve here was my roommate, and previous to my arrival in California, I kind of plotted out this fun-filled trip with the MC here, Senior Chief Peruzzi. And we had both agreed that after having attended multiple schools in Petaluma, that there was no way in heck we were going to get stuck out there without wheels. So we gathered up our pennies and rented ourselves a fine sedan, and we had some grand plans for our weekends out there. Well, those plans became a little grander when we met Steve. About 5 minutes after we met him, he let me know that he had a throat surgery a couple weeks earlier, and it was going to be about 5 weeks until he could consume alcohol of any kind. So at minute 6, we were on the phone to Hertz, and we got him put on the insurance. And, we had a blast over those 5 weeks, and we enjoyed every weekend at Lake Tahoe and in San Francisco in a grand and in a chiefly fashion. One of my favorite things about Steve has always been his honesty. I picked up on that right away. And to date, I've never met anyone who stands more ready to tell it like it is, or at least how he sees it, immediately and repeatedly, especially if you're wrong. Won't dwell on it or hold it against you, but he just wants to make sure you're aware that you're wrong. Now, this is a special skill that Steve has nurtured and applied not so sparingly during his career, and I'm sure it will be sorely missed. Anyhow, back to the school. Needless to say, our 5 weeks, we had a great time. And thanks again for not throwing every shoe and textbook in our room at me as I snored the night away. Anyhow, we had a blast at the academy. And it was there that the three of us plotted our next excursion, which was Tactical Boat Coxswain School in warm and welcoming Camp Lejeune the following March. Now, the accommodations there are legendary. They're lavish even. But unfortunately, in large part due to Steve, we had to stay off base. While our shipmates basked in the glory of those Marine Corps accommodations, Steve called up his brother Raymond, and his brother was terribly lonely at his oceanfront place near Curry Beach, North Carolina. And we suffered there in silence over the next few weeks and did our best to keep Raymond company. Now, the fact that Steve was even at this school is interesting, as he must have called up the training quota center and used all those new networking and skills and chiefly wordsmithing he learned at the Chief Petty Officer Academy, because I'm 100% sure that you're the only guy ever assigned to a 65-foot ice-breaking tug that ever got orders to Tactical Boat Coxswain School. But all humor aside, throughout this day you have heard and will hear more about Chief Worrell's many great accomplishments, and they are all justly deserved. For some, it may be the first time they hear of these accomplishments, and for me, that's where the real story lies. When I read through the advanced copy of today's script a few days ago, when I was racking my brain trying to come up with a speech for Steve, I came across the fact that he had served for a month straight at Ground Zero after 9/11 on the cutter Catherine Walker. Now, I spent 8 weeks of my life with Steve, John, and the whole time we were roommates between those two schools. Never once, not once, did he ever take a minute to point out that fact. That he had been right there. He sought no glory even in those moments when we were just shooting the breeze and passing the time. So that's where I settled on it, that in the end, if you boil it down, he's just a bosun's mate, a chief, who, as Sumner I. Kimball put it, quote, neither wonders or cares how much or how little the world thinks of him. I especially agree with that part. That he pursues life's pathway, doing his appointed tasks without ostentation, loving his work for the work's sake, content to live and do in the present rather than look for the uncertain rewards of the future. Well, Steve-O, your Coast Guard career has come to an end. I guess it's time for you to turn your focus to the finer things in life, sailing the waters off Martha's Vineyard or rowing the beaches in North Carolina, spending time with your beautiful family, and watching these two boys grow up. So, thank you for the opportunity to speak here today, my friend. It was truly an honor. Thank you for all you have seen and all you have done. Thank you for your service. You're an outstanding bosun's mate, a chief's chief, a true professional mariner, but above all, a great friend and father, and I wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors, except for us.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. I would now like to introduce Captain Marcille, Director of Coast Guard Leadership Development Center, to deliver her remarks.
Thanks, Chief. Well, good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Captain.
What a great day, great occasion, and a great venue to celebrate Chief Worrell's service accomplishments and very long and noteworthy career. We've heard a lot about Chief already, and we haven't even gotten to the best part, when Chief Worrell comes up and shares his perspective on his long and accomplished career. But I want to thank you for taking time, for making time to be here this morning. We know that everyone has a lot of things that we call work to do waiting for us back at home, at the office, and certainly have other priorities. But we all strive to be the best leaders that we can be, which Chief has spent his career doing. And for you to take time doing what leaders should be doing, which is to recognize the accomplishment of others. Thank you so much for taking time to do that. I've had the privilege to work with Chief Worrell for the past few years. And I'll echo what Bosun Roberts said, is that Chief is certainly a chief's chief. He likes to get his hands dirty, both metaphorically and literally. There was never a personnel challenge, a development challenge, a team challenge that he backed away from. Perhaps it is the honesty, but those of you who have worked with Chief know that in the end, he just can't help but care. Care about the lieutenants on staff, the children of the lieutenants on staff, the officer trainees, the officer candidates, the direct commissioned officers, Boy Scouts, or bees, as it turns out. He is, in reality, a keeper of the bees, whether they're the lieutenant bee type, the OC type, or the Apis mellifera. I did have to look that up. The honeybee type. Because I can picture him out there, right? Work with me here. Taking the bees through some low ropes and high ropes activities, right? Having to march around the fields, exercises some close order drill or some manual of arms, and then, after it's all done, gathering them all up together and debriefing them, providing them some honest feedback on how to make them better as individuals and as a team. Chief Worrell understands that none of us can be successful on our own. That this work, this service is all about being a team. He's taken well over 1,000 students through a variety of challenge course team building activities and has helped each one of them learn the strength and potential of teamwork. It has made our officer corps better, it has made our service better, and that is something to be proud of, to stand tall with. Before I offer some formal recognition for his accomplishments as the Barracks Chief for Officer Candidate School, and since he is still technically working for me for another 20 minutes or so before we read that, I'd like to offer, to ask one more thing of him. So if you just excuse my absence here. Am I allowed to use the phone here? Let me get out my phone. I know I have his number on speed dial here. For those of you who don't know, Chief has decided to set up a second career in North Carolina. And I had the opportunity to call him last week. Let me set up here. I had the opportunity to call him last week and was surprised at how far he had progressed with his second career. So I'm going to leave him a voicemail, so hopefully I can just give him one more thing to do. Let me see, it's ringing here. We got it. Give it speakerphone here. We got you. Oh, it's ringing in your pocket. Thank you for silencing yourself. Slice of life. Yes, Captain Marcel, we'd like to order 10 large cheese. So, Chief, what I'd like to do is when you check your voicemail and route your new home, is to remember that you have a grateful Leadership Development Center team, a grateful OCS team, hundreds of grateful junior officers and Boy Scouts that are better leaders and better human beings because you care. Have a great day. Oh. Now I ask you to join me up here, and I will start with my cell phone. Join me up here for some formal recognition. Mayor Pickett.
Attention orders. Citation to accompany the award of Coast Guard Commendation Medal, Gold Star, in lieu of a second, to Stephen Worrell, Chief Bosun Mate. Chief Petty Officer Worrell is cited for outstanding achievement while serving as the Company Chief at Officer Candidate School, Leadership Development Center, U.S. Coast Guard Academy from July 2010 to July 2013. As the sole Chief Petty Officer on the Officer Candidate School staff, Chief Petty Officer Worrell exemplified the traditions of the anchor as a subject matter expert, instructor, and leader to over 700 commissioned officers in training. Displaying meticulous attention to detail, Chief Petty Officer Worrell diligently trained all officer candidates in the fundamentals of close order drill through 40 weekly drill competition, capstone graduation events, and 8 honor ceremonies, establishing a foundation of military discipline and teamwork vital to their success in the officer corps. In addition, Chief Petty Officer Worrell had an integral role in the transition of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration Officer Accession Program to the Academy by maximizing barracks capacity, introducing military drill, training 3 staff officers, and mentoring 28 newly commissioned ensigns for the Department of Commerce. He directly impacted NOAA's future officer corps, raising their professionalism and developing their leadership skills while simultaneously gaining national visibility for this groundbreaking interagency partnership. Displaying unwavering commitment to the Academy, he served as the command drug and alcohol representative for 2 years, providing 24-hour assistance and counsel for those struggling with addiction. Finally, he dedicated countless hours as a Scoutmaster for Boy Scout Troop 123, capably developing America's future leaders through public service projects and fundraising efforts. Chief Petty Officer Worrell's dedication, judgment, and devotion to duty are most heartily commended and are in keeping with the highest traditions of the United States Coast Guard. Signed, Admiral Stubbs.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated. Chief will now be presented with a certificate of appreciation for service in the Armed Forces of the United States.
Certificate of Appreciation for Service in the Armed Forces of the United States. I extend to you my personal thanks and the sincere appreciation of a grateful nation for your contribution of honorable service to our country. You have helped maintain the security of the nation during a critical time in its history with a devotion to duty and a spirit of sacrifice in keeping with the proud traditions of military service. Your commitment and dedication have been an inspiration for those who will follow in your footsteps and for all Americans who join me today in saluting you for a job extremely well done. My best wishes to you for happiness and success in the future. Sign our Commander-in-Chief, Barack Obama.
Chief will now be presented with a certificate of retirement from the Armed Forces of the United States of America.
This is the big one, in case anyone doesn't know. This is when it becomes official. Certificate of Retirement from the Armed Forces of the United States of America. To all who shall see these presents, greetings. This is to certify that Chief Boatswain Stephen C. Worrell, having been retired after honorable service in the United States Coast Guard, is awarded this testimonial as an acknowledgement of duty faithfully performed during a period of over 22 years. Done at Washington, D.C., this first day of December in the year of our Lord, 2013. Signed, Admiral U.S. Coast Guard, R.K. Pack, Jr.
Captain will now make a presentation to Chief Worrell's sons, Benjamin and Dylan. Please come forward.
United States Coast Guard Certificate of Appreciation awarded to Benjamin and Dylan Worrell. To all who shall see these presents, greetings. It is my pleasure to express the grateful appreciation of the United States Coast Guard to you for enduring separations from your father while he served his country. You should know that your father's successful career has been challenging and required unselfish devotion to serve others. Your father was required to do Coast Guard work that prevented him from spending more time with you. He would have preferred to be home with you to help when you needed him, but his outstanding work in support of our country was also very important to your future. Your understanding has been essential to his success. The United States Coast Guard thanks you for your support given this first day of December 2013. Our future chiefs.
Chief, at this time, will you please step forward for the unveiling of the shadow box and reading of an adaptation of the poem entitled, "I Am